Yeah, good morning. Good morning. This is Che Yusuf from the Daily Money Market, the platform that you can find it on the YouTube. It's actually, the financial platform that you can learn a little bit of, Forex financial literacy and a lot of things in terms of financial. So, yeah, excited news, excited news. It's Friday. We're doing, the market recap of the week. And again, we are actually jumping into Africa markets, just to see how the Africa market is actually doing. So without wasting time, we gotta jump into it in terms of the recap of the week. We saw it on Monday in terms of the global markets. Monday actually didn't have the high impact volatility because there was no much activities in the economy in terms of the news report, or even the news events, or a global organization that they're meeting so that it can drive the global market. So there was not much. It was really, really quiet. We saw a lot of instruments to be really, really, flat. But coming on Tuesday, they're starting to pick up in terms of the activities in terms of the global market events. We saw in the morning on Tuesday there was a Great British Pounds Clement account change that comes on a 9 a.m. on Tuesday. It is actually the Clement account change represent the net change in the number of people who are actually claiming unemployment related benefits. So from here, we can call it like, those Ramaphosa 350, in South Africa. So in US or in British pounds, a lot of people they get money. I was talking to my friend in who's staying in England. He was telling me that people that side are relaxed because you can be able to get actually benefit when you're a student. You can be able to get benefit when you're just born and all the way until you find a job. You can be able to get a benefit when you are actually older. So this climate account change, it actually calculate those people who are actually depending from the Republic of Britain, so that they can be able to actually continue know exactly what exactly the numbers of people who are not employed they are at particular time. All right, so that's what had come on Tuesday morning. So going on later on US, it was around 3:30 p.m. There's a core CPI month to month, which is a lot of people they were anticipating trading that one. It is the consumer price index, that measures the average price change for a basket of goods and services over the time. So it actually also tracking the inflation at the consumer level. It is the standard indicator used to monitor the changes in the cost of living and adjustment of financial instrument like social security benefits and the wage contract. So very, very important in terms of people who follow the global economic, to understand in terms of the CPI, the consumer price index, what does it measure. So that news come on. It was on Tuesday, 3:30 p.m. A lot of people they were anticipating to see to see the instrument like Nasdaq, US 30, S&P 500 to drop from the position where it was, it was not the same, because I remember I did the video last week. According the economists, they were saying last week before this news release, they were talking about that people they are not putting money in the market because of they're expecting Black Friday sale that is coming, so that they can spend on a Black Friday with a little bit of affordable in terms of the price of the product that they want to buy. So we actually, even myself, I was anticipating to say that okay, all these the US indices, they're gonna now start losing value for only this week, then start gaining maybe the following week or after Black Friday. But what I realize is that the Feds they actually hold the consumer price index at a very, very positive level. So we actually see the consumer price index CPI news coming out very positive than where they were expected. That is why the market didn't drop. It actually pushed the price a little bit high, and those that they were actually selling the product like NAS, US30, S&P, gold, they actually have feel the bit because the market was going against them. So that's actually happened last this week Tuesday on a CPI. Jumping on Wednesday, there was a wage price index which was a 2:30 a.m. on Australian dollar, which is on a Sydney sessions there. So the wage price index offers the insight into economic condition, inflation expectations, and the interest rate trends, and the labor market healthy, useful for informed trading decision in a financial market such as stocks, bonds, currencies, and commodities. Very important, as it says that it's very useful to understand it when you are actually in trading in a financial market. If you're trading bonds, if you're trading stocks, if you're participating in currencies, and as well as commodities. Later on Wednesday 9 a.m., we saw a Great British Pounds coming again with the CPI year to year. Remember, on Tuesday there was a CPI from US. Wednesday there was a CPI from British Pounds. So as a CPI is a measure of the average change in the price paid by urban consumer for a basket of goods and services. It used to track inflation and adjustment financial instruments such as the social security's benefits, as we already explained it on the CPI on the US. So moving on to Wednesday, there was also core PPI, which is producer price index month to month from US. It was a 3:30 p.m. The producer price index PPI measures the average selling price changes over the time for the goods and services produced domestically. It is used to track inflation and the wholesaler level, reflecting a price changes experienced by the producers. Very, very important. What is being released on Tuesday, according to Consumer Price Index, now on Wednesday there was a producer price index. It actually measures what producers has actually produced and how much is being sold in the market without actually having the producer or the wholesaler price. We won't know the producers, because the farmers, for example, if they're actually producing tomato, they're going to sell it to the wholesalers, right? The wholesalers, they're the ones that are actually distributing to the retail industry. Unless if you are like a big companies like Shoprite, Checkers, Pick and Pays, those ones, they actually stand as wholesalers and as well as a retail, price, a retail producers. So they can themselves go to the farmers and buy the product from the farmers and come back and distribute. But they don't just distribute. So they have the offices that they call the DC, District Commission of a certain franchise. For example, Spa, they have a DC Spa. So what it does is that all the products, they go to the DC. So the DC is their wholesalers, right? So each and every franchisee is gonna go communicate with the DC, tell them what type of product they want, and then the DC, they will send the truck to the shops so that the shops can be able to sell in a retail prices. So even these for big franchises, they organize themselves in a way that they do have a part which is the wholesalers, and themselves they are the retailer. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. So yeah, that news comes on it was on Wednesday. Going on Thursday, Australian dollar 2:30 a.m. We saw employment change. We saw again later on the 3:30 p.m. from USA an employment claim, also known as a jobless claim. These are a cash benefits requested by individuals who are laid off from the jobs, right? These claims are filled through the state's government for temporary payments following a job loss. So for example, here in South Africa, we can put it as a UIF, right? How many people they're actually claiming a UIF at that particular month. That tells the states in a government or in a feds that these are number of people that being released from the job industry. Very, very, very interesting, stats that you need to understand it when you are a global marketer like me. All right, moving on Friday. Friday we saw the retail sales. There was a retail sales month to month, which is coming from Great British Pounds. Remember, last week there was a retail sales from the US. And that's the, the numbers from retail sales of US. That's the ones that gives a lot of the economists, or the market analysts like me, to have an idea to say that, okay, the CPI, it will have a positive drop, but it didn't come out according the way we actually planned. So today, Friday, actually the news is already out already. It's 9 a.m. news. It's a retail sales. A retail sales month to month reflects a change in the US retail sales in the report month compared to the previous one. On the calculation takes into account two types of the retail companies, right? Stores and fixed points of the sales, and without them, using a paper, electronic catalogs, mobile stands, and home-based sales, vending machine, and etc. So they calculate the sales that comes, or the vending machines, the sales that comes on home-based stuff that you buy, and so on, appliances, electronics. So those are the actual product that comes on a what do you call, on a retail sales. So it was today, Friday in the morning, and probably right now the news has actually finished. So yeah, that's what actually been popping up in the market, from Monday all the way to Friday. But again, I saw yesterday there was a news come from one of the biggest company in a developing a chip. It seems Sims. Some people they call Siemens. I don't know, Sims. Yeah. So they actually reported a high, a record in terms of their numbers from the previous year. So Siemens is actually doing really, really, really good. They actually have 50% of what they make to reinvest into business. I mean, if the business have 50% what they make to reinvest it back to that, that means they're actually, doing really, really great. So that's what comes out this week. Again, we saw Alibaba numbers, Alibaba third quarter earnings coming out. And if you don't know Alibaba, Alibaba it's one. I think a lot of people know Alibaba now. Alibaba is one of the biggest company in Asia, in China. Owned by Jack. Recently just dropped out from the CEO of running the company. He stand back, employ another CEO. He just want to oversee the whole company, how company going, and so on and so forth. So we saw again a positive results coming from the Alibaba company. Today, it was actually today morning. The EU looking to strike still deals with the US. Those are actually news that are coming also from CNBC today. So, right, guys, that's it in terms of the market reports of US and British pounds, and again Australian dollar. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna try to jump into the Africa market report, which is, we said we're gonna start bringing on, just trying to bring it on at home to see what exactly the market is actually doing in our homeland. All right. So first news that I'm seeing according to CNBC, it actually comes 7:30 GMT Friday today. South African petrochemical companies Sasol named a new CEO. There's a new Baloyi in the building of Sasol. So Johannesburg on November 17 wrote South Africa Petroleum Chemical Companies Sasol on Friday said a Simon Baloyi will take on the role of the president and the CEO of April 2024. The Baloyi succeed Fleetwood Global, who will continue with the company as an executive advisor until December 31, 2024. So Baloyi currently executive vice president of energy operations and technology, was selected from the both internal and as well as external candidate, and has served in various management positions since joining the company 2002. We believe, which is Sasso said, we believe that his strategic outlook, excellent leadership skills, technical and business acumen, and deep experience of operation will actually stand him in excellent stead to take over the helm of Sasso said in a statement of board of the Sasol. So yeah, guys, there's a new Baloyi in a Sasol and one of the CEO in terms of petroleum company in South Africa. It's the biggest petroleum company. But now, guys, this is the reason why when you have income, invest in these companies, right? The reason why if you are buying a certain share price or shareholder in your company, you'll be able to receive letters informing you that they are having, the nominee or nominating the new CEO. And what it does is that it gives you power to actually, make sure that you participate in that particular vote or for choosing a CEO. You see, so that's really really important. I mean, a lot of people in US, they actually, just go on buy shares so that they can now be able to sit on a board when they can influence the decision of a certain company when they want to make change this and put that, right? That's really really important if you blow up and you get enough money, to do these things. All right, jumping on in Kenya, we got a few news that coming on Kenya. Kenya could lose up to 7.25% of GDP to climate change, which is World Bank says. So Nairobi today on November 17, Kenya lost up to 7.25% of economic output by 2050 if it does not take the strong action to adapt to the climate change and mitigate its effects, the World Bank said on Friday. Like other so-called frota economics, the East African national has been suffering from the effects of the global heating, including prolonged drought in recent years. By 2050, inaction against the climate change could result in a decline in a real GDP of 3.61 to 7.25%. The World Bank said in a new publication called Kenya Country Climate Change and Development Report. The impact of the climate change on the economic could partly buffered by the high annual growth rate as structured transformation, it says. If Kenya's economy grows 7.5% per year through 2050, in line with the government target, the demand of the climate change to economic output would drop to 2.75%, which is 5.3% in terms of the report. It called for increased investment in water resources management, farming, energy, transport, and the digital system to help reduce the impact of the climate change. Huge, huge, huge climate change. We see the East Africans talking about a lot of things about climate change. We saw President Paul Kagame launching the movement in terms of climate change. We saw President Luto, President Luto again talking about launching to Kenya to be the hub of climate change. So this is what is actually happening in most of the countries in East Africa. Even here in Southern Africa, it's actually been hitting us for very very long time. If you look countries like Malawi, you look countries like Mozambique, and as well as a little bit of Zimbabwe, we always get affected with floods. Different types of floods. Storms are coming now. Look at now. I mean, now in South Africa, we couldn't see these type of storms. There was a crazy storm that comes, last year or last of last year in Durban. Crazy rain, they've been coming all the time. And day before yesterday, we saw another storm just destroy a lot of things, properties for people, that comes here in Johannesburg. So that's what actually has been cooking in terms of Africa. And let's see if there's another report that we can see in terms of Africa news. Okay, we touch on Sasol by picking up Baloyi as a CEO. Again, we saw another news from Kenya gets 938 million from Forum, from International Monetary Fund, with the Euro bond coming to due. The International Monetary Fund will expand its financial to Kenya by $938 million to boost the East African National Reserve before Eurobond repayment due in June. The funding will still require International Monetary Fund board approval. Would reside in a Washington-based land, granting the Kenya immediately access to around $682 million. The fund said its statement on Thursday. The authorized strong reform program aims to enhance the policy framework substantially and restore a confidence to ensure access to the global bond market, and said Hamonot Tefer, which is one of the member of International Monetary Fund that is sitting in Kenya. So yeah, it looks like the Africa News report today. South Africa, it's on hot by selecting the new CEO, and as well as Kenya, warnings in terms of the global changing environment changing, and as well as getting money from the International Monetary Fund. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Lastly, Proteas, Bafwit. Nah. Proteas, how could you start with a captain, number one, and then you start with the best player on the tournament when you're starting? No, man. If it was on soccer, we could have kept one, dog. You keep one, you put one in front. So you could have put a captain and put with someone else, Rabada or something, right? Two of them. At least when they get one wicket from another, we can bring now De Kock. Now we put a De Kock, two balls, he's out. We bring Macram, the same thing, he's out. You see, strategic games like that, you need to be really, really, really very strategic when you actually planning games like that. You need to let people. We saw the weather conditions were different, like any other day when we were playing. So you need actually to let them taste, to say that let them play. Let's see how they're playing, and then we bring our full force. But yeah, man, that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents about the cricket. But anyways, becoming another Bafana. Congratulations anyway for coming all the way, coming to semifinals. That was brilliant. I haven't watched cricket so much like now. So yeah, man, thank you very much for tuning in. You can catch me on the social media. It's Che Yusuf on Instagram. Yeah, man, enjoy. Mbite.